Okay, we're live and we're ready to go. Okay, so here we go. Okay, everyone, this is Dejavu, and I'm here with Phrank and HD Starcraft. We all went to Blizzcon. Thank you very much to SC2GG and Game Replays for providing that commentary contest, and we've got got to go to Blizzcon and had a great time. And this is going to be our podcast to talk about everything Blizzcon and SC2 that you can think of. You can listen at the sc2gg.com podcast, the Shoutcast server, and ask questions on the SC2GG IRC. The one thing that we're not going to talk about is the goodie bag, because I assume at this point everyone's heard more than they want to know about it, and that it wasn't all that exciting outside of the Raynor doll. Not a lot that went down there. But to start out here, we're just going to try and get some overall impressions from all of us about BlizzCon. So, HD, for all of us, this was our first experience, our first trip to BlizzCon. So how did you like it, your first trip?
Well, apart from my very, very huge fear of flying on airplanes, it was pretty good, actually. I came down from San Francisco, which is where I live in the Bay Area, and airplane flight was great and everything, not too much turbulence. Landed down and checked in at the Sheraton Hotel, not the one that was closest to BlizzCon, unfortunately. Made some mess up of plans there, and I ended up going to the Sheraton that was like next to Disneyland instead. So I had a bit of a travel. I had to hop on the shuttle that goes to Disneyland just to get to BlizzCon. So I was with a bunch of kids going to Disneyland. Everyone's wearing their Mickey Mouse hats, and I'm wearing my BlizzCon badge, and I'm like, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. The first day, my God, the BlizzCon line was enormous. It was way longer than Disneyland, I have to say. It was probably, all right, we lined up at the front of BlizzCon, and it ended up routing us, the line, like, it was a complete maze that went, I swear, around the entire city of Anaheim, and it was just ridiculously long. But, yeah, that was my intro to BlizzCon, and it was just crazy hot that day, too. But, Frank, as we stepped inside the BlizzCon Center, actually, no one had reception. So the very first day, I didn't meet up with Frank or Dejavu. I just went in there, and I was just shocked and amazed at the atmosphere and the electricity in the air that was BlizzCon 2009. And I'll let Frank go ahead and talk a little bit more. And on my next round, I'll talk about Starcraft 2, Diablo 3, WoW, everything about BlizzCon. So yeah.
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, I did a vlog of my adventure surrounding BlizzCon as well as my adventure inside of BlizzCon. So if you haven't checked that out, I guess you can go to the BlizzCon vlog YouTube page and kind of see, and you can pretty much get my general take on BlizzCon and I guess the day surrounding it from that. But if you're not interested in that, I can just tell you right here, it's fantastic out there. California is definitely a beautiful place. Go check it out. And yeah, yeah, like HD was saying, the lines were massive, and actually I do have pictures. I will upload them to the IRC. Sorry, I forgot the control button here, but there are pictures of how long the line is in some of those images, and it's probably something like 20,000 people long, and that's not even to get inside the building. Okay, that's to get inside. That's to get into a booth where you get your badge, and it was just disgusting how long that line was. We were surrounded by WoW players. We actually have this really funny story about how this WoW player and his girlfriend tried to talk to us, and it was awful. Yeah, Dejavu was there, and we just kind of were like, yeah, raiding, woo, healers, yep, and I have 185 APM, and you'll never reach that. But anyways, I kind of felt like an elitist at times also in BlizzCon in the area, where I was just like, yeah, I got skills, and I don't necessarily feel that WoW takes as much skill, but I'm going to go play SC2 now. But anyways, my general take on it was fantastic. Like Dejavu said, we're not going to talk about the goodie bag because that was some kind of an experience in itself. But yeah, I definitely have to say it was fantastically done. They definitely had the space to maintain that amount of people, which I did not expect. And yeah, I just thought they did a fantastic job overall with the opening ceremonies and everything, as well as with the panels that they were doing throughout BlizzCon. Oh, I thought that was fantastic. The access we had to even some of the voice actors for StarCraft 2. The woman who plays Kerrigan in StarCraft 2 is freaking hot, I have to say. Yeah, it was amazing. I don't know, a great experience just getting into the building, I have to say.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun throughout the whole thing, and it's like what they say in that Big Bang Theory. You know, it's like living in nirvana for 2 days, and it's hard to explain, but just to be surrounded by I don't know how many, probably like 50,000 people. I think they got tickets out to, and just to be surrounded by that many people who are into gaming and into esports and interested as we were, it was quite an experience, and I know I had a lot of fun. So I think we should move on to our first real topic here. We'll talk about the Starcraft tournament that went on, the SE1 tournament, not SE2, and did end up winning that in over Zero, and we actually got to see Zero in every single set of live cast games, which was rather interesting that they showcased him so much. I actually enjoyed it. In the first games versus Nada, he actually went Queens versus Tanks, and tried to survive that way, and tried to just very unique and interesting build. So that was kind of fun to see kind of a unique strategy come out of him. It didn't work, but it was actually a lot of fun, and I have to say that play, top of the fact that we did get to actually talk to Zero kind of and get to meet him, kind of turned me into a Zero fan through BlizzCon. I don't know about what you guys thought, but I thought Zero's play, even though Effort won, I thought Zero really came out as kind of the star of BlizzCon.
Yeah, actually, I do recall seeing that game. I mean, the 2 days of BlizzCon was just a hectic frenzy, but I do recall seeing a game where a lot of queens and spawn broodling was used on the tanks. And when I first saw that on the actual, like, you guys, when you watch Korean games that we cast on our YouTube channels, you know they got the podium and they got the two booths, the players playing, and the big screen TV. They had that all at BlizzCon. I felt like I was in South Korea. But when I looked up at the big screen and I saw queens spawning broodling on tanks, I was like, this can't be for real. This must be like a show match. They probably had this set up to impress people at BlizzCon. But as I saw the match unfold, I realized that they were actually playing for reals. This was not staged. And I actually asked some of the people on CJ Entis who said, yeah, this is not staged. I asked Idra. I actually met Idra at the booth. It was pretty interesting. But yeah, I was watching that match unfold and I was like, wow, this is an epic battle. And if I recall correctly, those spider mines, I forgot who Zero was playing, but those spider mines completely destroyed and annihilated so many ultras and lings, and it was a really interesting battle to see. And I don't recall that match all too well, but I do remember seeing Savior and Ma Jae-yoon coming back in 2009. Didn't quite happen, unfortunately, and he was, I believe, the last year's BlizzCon champion. And this year, unfortunately, things didn't fold out the way that he had hoped. I don't remember exactly how the bracket went, but hopefully Phrank can pick it off and continue from there.
I'm sorry, what match was that you wanted me to bring up?
I think it was Savior versus I think it was his ZVZ battle. I don't recall. Dejavu, do you remember that?
It was Zero, definitely, because the only matches that they actually showed contained Zero. Yeah, I do have to say, I think actually Savior and Zero went up on stage and they played twice. And Savior, it wasn't necessarily that Zero had some epic play. Maybe he did, but that wasn't the key points in the games, actually. The key points for me in the Savior games were him just screwing up so horribly. I remember in one match, he went for a very quick tech route, whereas Zero went for a fast economy build. Zero had an extra hatchery up, and he put down a spore colony, and Savior went straight in with about 5 Mutalisks for the spore colony. He did some epic micro, but at the same time, he let Zero tech up, and he was getting his Spire up while he was trying to take out the spore colony, and all of his Mutalisks, although they stayed alive, they were badly damaged. So 2 Mutalisks popped up for Zero, and he just completely took out Savior's force, and Savior just GG'd. I remember Savior GG'd prematurely in I think all 4 of his matches against Zero, and it was a really horrible feeling to watch because you could see the look on the faces of all the audience members who you could tell were just Savior fans, and it was a really depressing moment for me, to be completely honest. And I did not expect him to just fare so horribly. I saw some of his offline matches too, and he was not up to par, let me say. I will say though, this is a little bit off about SC1 and about not necessarily the stage tournament, but I got to stand behind Sky High and watch him play, and holy freaking crap, he is phenomenal just to watch play. His APM is just constantly up, like at least 300. I mean, this guy is